Welcome to a special overtime episode of Ice is Slippery, an unserious podcast about hockey brought to you by 1.5 hockey fans. My name is Kate, and I'm the hockey fan.
And my name is Fred. I am half a hockey fan.
Hi, Fred. Sorry, you're still talking about hockey.
Yeah, we're like that Flux Pavilion song, I Can't Stop.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It just says, I can't stop.
Okay.
The entire time.
Well, I'll have to give that one a listen and show some interest in your hobbies for once, I guess. We're still here. We're still talking about hockey. It's going to be another short one.
Yeah.
But there were just lots of trades and signing newses that we thought we needed to talk about.
Yeah, there was enough going on, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And, this is a good way to break up the Godzilla marathon.
It's true. Fred's been on a Godzilla marathon, as he likes to do periodically. He's trying to manifest a kaiju.
I am. Japan's got earthquakes. I'm just saying. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, he was trying to manifest it more like stateside.
Yeah, but
listen. things are bad here. A kaiju can only improve the situation.
This is my 4th of July weekend.
This is what he does.
This is what happens when there's no hockey.
Listen, some people are into hockey, some people are into Godzilla movies, and sometimes they get married and they're very boring together. Exactly. And that's just how it is. And their child is like, why are you like this?
Yep. We
did see the new Jurassic Park movie this weekend.
We did.
We went to a movie theater.
Yeah, we went out.
I don't think we've done that in years.
No, we had nothing else to do. There's no hockey.
There was no hockey. Like, what else are you going to do? So it was pretty fun. We had a good time.
Sure.
Yeah. Awesome. It wasn't a Godzilla movie, though.
No, but there were
Godzilla-esque creatures. No spoilers.
Yeah. Godzilla was a dinosaur in the first one anyway, so it's fine.
There you go. I'm not up in my Godzilla lore. I guess I should watch all the Godzilla movies, too, since you watch all the hockey.
Man, this is such a fascinating podcast to start out, huh?
It is. All right, fine. We'll talk about hockey, whatever. All right. So Sunday, Matthew Nyes signed an extension with the Maple Leafs for 6 years at $7.75 million a year. And everyone's like, all right, well, if we didn't know Mitch Marner was leaving, we definitely know Mitch Marner is leaving now.
Yeah. I like that guy, that nice guy. I thought he was real good in the playoffs.
He's really good in general. I think, has worked really hard, and he's got huge shoulders. And a big neck.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
I do like watching a lot of smaller guys tried to push him over and stuff.
And he was like, no, thank you.
He just swatted them away like flies.
Yeah, no, he was like, that's not going to happen. All right, the Cats are going to get into a fight right in front of us on the podcast table.
Yep.
This isn't about you guys, just for once, okay? Thank you. Anyway, speaking of Mitch Marner, he did a sign and trade deal with the Maple Leafs on Monday, where he signed an 8-year, $96 million deal with the Leafs and was then traded to Vegas in exchange for Nicholas Waugh or Roy. I don't know.
No, it's Waugh.
It is Waugh?
Yeah.
All right. Toronto basically blackmailed Vegas into this because everyone knew Marner was going to sign in Vegas. He was there looking at property.
Yep.
And Toronto was like, they were tampering. And Vegas is like, I mean, probably we're Vegas. But I don't, far be it for me to defend Vegas, but I don't think they're probably doing anything that anybody else doesn't do.
Well, yeah, probably not.
Probably not. But yeah, Toronto was kind of throwing a fit. So they said they were going to file a complaint about tampering if Mitch signed with Vegas in free agency. So basically, Mitch could only sign an 8-year deal in Toronto. If he would have signed in Vegas, it would have had to be a 7-year deal. So the Vegas GM did say that the deal was going to be $96 million regardless. So it works out to $12 million a year for Vegas. It would have been $13.7 a year if he had signed in Vegas for 7 years, which I'm only bringing that up. I know numbers bore you, but I'm only bringing that up because there are some salty Leafs fans out there who are like, he took a discount. We don't want him anymore, but we don't want him to take a discount to play somewhere else. That's evil.
Yeah.
So yeah, people are taking it very personally.
Well, I think that Toronto, they need to move the team out of that city, and they just need a breather for a couple of years. I think those fans are just. I feel like at some point the hockey guy over this year was like, what the Toronto fans need is therapy or something like that, and I'm like, oh yeah, I see it. They're just unhinged no matter what happens.
Well, and the things, I'm sure 90% of the Toronto fans are fine.
Well, exactly.
It's just the 10% of them are so unhinged and so loud about it.
Right. The ones that take online and are on the podcasts and the whatever broy kind of hockey things are out there. Those people are just, I don't know. They need some help. Like it.
I mean, why get therapy when you can just be loud about sports?
Well, that's true. I think that's been the pattern of many generations of males for a long time.
I'm kind of co-opting it for myself. I'm not going to lie. Listen, the world is hard. And when hockey's on, I don't have to think. And I like that.
Exactly. You're not to the point standing up in front of the TV yelling at it yet. But I feel like we're only a couple of years away from that.
No. I like to disassociate. That's my whole thing with hockey. I'm just there for the like staring and zoning out.
All right.
That's me. And I like that.
Well, I got to keep my eye on you over the years. Second you're standing up and yelling, I know we've taken the wrong turn.
Yeah. I guess at that point you can send me back to therapy. You can do an intervention. There are a lot of other signings going on. Andrei Kuzmenko re-signed in LA for 1 year at $4.3 million.
We love that for him.
We love that for him. He's such a great guy, and he really was doing awesome in LA when he got there. I think 1 year deal makes sense, though. He's been a little up and down and sporadic throughout his career. So
yeah.
See if he can kind of continue that for another year, but like good price tag for him, and he'll probably continue being on one of the top two lines, and hopefully he can keep it up and maybe make himself a home there.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Marner. I don't know if I'm done with Marner yet.
Yeah, no, we're not done with Marner. Let's go back to Marner.
I'm excited about that for him.
I am too. You know, here's the thing. Like, I'm never going to be able to root for Vegas. Like,
no,
we're enemies. It's a thing. But like, I want nothing but the best for Mitch Marner. And that means, I guess, that I'm going to maybe have to dislike Vegas a little less.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, it'll be, I don't know, at least when they're playing your teams, you'll be able to be like, oh, look, Marner did a fancy boy thing.
I will like that. I do enjoy watching fancy boys be fancy during hockey. That's kind of my favorite part of hockey is the fancy boy stuff. I think it's going to be really good for him. I think in Toronto, he wasn't like getting the space to do the kind of creative play he gets to do. He's not a physical player. And, you know, the more toxic fans are like, he's not a man. He's not physical. And like, it's fine. Pretty much everybody else in Vegas is physical. They can go crunch bones and do bad things. And Mitchie can just figure skate his way to the goal. And I think it's going to be great for him.
Yeah, no, I think that'll be great. I think it's going to be great when he scores goals on Toronto and they just melt.
Yeah.
But
I'm looking forward to like a Toronto Vegas playoff matchup at some point. Just really
Marner just dances around them.
Yep. Just Toronto gets swept by Vegas with Marner scoring every game-winning goal.
Every game-winning goal.
Every goal in the whole tournament.
Every point, all unassisted.
All of them. Yeah. No, he like assists himself.
Exactly.
This is the future that I want.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I know that you were bummed about, and I agree, is the colors just don't go well with him.
No, I said, I think maybe even on the podcast, that uniform is really going to wash him out. And we have now seen pictures of him in the uniform. And I mean, the color is just not great on most people, but it really definitely makes him look a little jaundiced.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
not great.
He's more of an autumn or whatever they say.
I don't fucking know, but whatever his color is, it's not Vegas colors.
It's not that color. No, it did not. You're right. He looked jaundiced, so we don't love that for him.
But you know what? He looks really happy.
Well, yeah. I mean, God, I asked you yesterday, right? He's been there his entire life, came up in the system, and to have just go to a place where people are like, woo, look at you. We're excited you're here. That must be nice at this stage in his career.
They're like, you're a fancy boy? We're Vegas. We fucking love fancy boys. Yeah. Like, that's kind of our thing. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, no, I think it's really good for him.
Yeah.
So I'm ready for him to live his best. Like, I'm divorced from my old team. Look at me in my new baddie era situation. Mitchuation.
Well. Oh, wow.
So
a Mitchuationship.
A Mitchuationship. You know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So, yeah. So, no, I'm happy for him.
Yep.
Even if it's in Vegas. which just goes to show how much I apparently really like Mitch Marner because...
Well, yeah. I mean, Vegas is my least favorite place in this country, probably, next to Florida in general.
Right.
And I think it's probably a good place for him to go. And I think it's probably a good place to live for various people.
I don't think anybody's going to care about him there. Like,
right.
It's so flashy in Vegas. Like, who's going to care about some hockey player from Canada?
Nobody. No, when you're going, like, walking through those casinos, like, you're not looking for a Mitch Marner. You're looking for, like, a George Clooney, like, pulling a heist and shit.
Right. Yeah. Or, like, a Wayne Newton.
Yeah. Or a Wayne Brady.
Or that.
Or a Carrot Top. You're not looking for a Mitch Marner.
Exactly. Yeah, no, Carrot Top way more recognizable than Mitch Marner
exactly.
in that situation.
Yeah.
No, I mean, people in Toronto knew where he lived and they would drive by his house and throw garbage on his lawn. Yeah. Like, that's unhinged.
That is unhinged.
I think in Vegas, if anybody throws garbage on his lawn, it's just because it's Vegas and not because they know it's his house. Like,
right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'm happy for him.
Okay.
Good job. All right. Okay, we talked about Kuzmenko.
Yep.
Evan Bouchard signed an extension with Edmonton for 4 years at 10.5 million AAV.
Yikes, really? I mean, he is good, I guess.
Yeah, he's like simultaneously like one of the top defensemen and then also one of the worst defensemen, depending on who you talk to. Sometimes the same person is saying that. He is kind of a turnover machine, but it is, I think, because he's more of an offensive defenseman, and that happens when you're creating chances off the rush like that.
Wow, look at you. You sound friggin' smart over there.
I watch a lot of hockey. These are things that happen to me. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that's just a thing that happens. Good for him. He's the oldest looking young man. He's the...
Oh, right.
Yeah.
He's like 23 or something ridiculous.
Or like 24 maybe. But like, yeah, he was born with a mortgage.
Yeah. No, but, I mean, he looks older than Brad Marchand and Sidney Crosby.
Yes. Yeah, I cannot imagine him partying the way Brad Marchand has been doing the last several weeks.
You'd be like, no, he needs to go home and take a nap.
Yeah. No, get Grandpa back to the care facility. Like, no, thank you.
Drinking bottles of water in between beers or something.
Right, exactly. Hook that man up to an IV. He's too frail for this. But yeah, nope, he's there. He's doing it. So good for him, I guess. I don't know. I don't really follow.
Yeah, no, that seems like more money than I would give him, but I don't know much about him other than those 2 terrible turnovers at terrible times in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But other than that,
I mean, he's a great scorer for them, especially for a defenseman, but then he also does really bad turnovers. So it's just one of those things.
That's the price you pay for the Boosh Bomb.
That is the price. The Boosh Bomb doesn't come cheap, guys.
There's no free Boosh Bombs.
It's 10.5 million a year, apparently. So Aaron Ekblad signed an extension with the Florida Panthers for 8 years at 6.1 million AAV, which is like a steal comparing that to Evan Bouchard.
Yeah,
they're
right.
both defensemen. And then Bill Zito was like, hey, while we're spending money, let's go ahead and lock down Brad Marchand too. So they signed him for 6 years at 5.25 million AAV. So he's 37 now. So that means he's signed until he's 43, which is ambitious.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Florida basically, either one of them on the open market could have fetched way more, just like Sam Bennett could have last week.
Right.
But they all like Florida. They like to win.
There's something about being on a team that wins that kind of changes things.
A team that wins and that like really genuinely likes each other and likes to hang out and like have a good time.
Right.
Like the party has continued.
Mm-hmm.
They're having a blast. They seem to really genuinely enjoy each other. So
yeah, no, it's it would be a hard sell to want to leave that. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't make millions of dollars a year, but I feel like $5 million to like hang out on a winning team and like have fun, or like $7 million somewhere else that you're not like, eh.
Yeah, but like, what if you have to go to like Winnipeg?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't love Florida, but I don't know. If I was there with my bros, like maybe it'd be different.
Yeah.
You know, if I was the kind of person who had bros.
Right.
My cats are my bros. That's about the closest I've come to having bros.
Yeah. I don't know. As someone that's never made and we'll never make that kind of money. Money isn't everything.
Yes. Yeah. It is easy for me to say in that position, of course I would give that up. You know?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm a freelancer. We don't make that much money.
I've certainly worked jobs that were like better, like for going to than like getting paid at times in my life. And
that is true. That's very true.
Yep.
So, well, Tuesday was the free agency bonanza. That's where pretty much everybody who doesn't have a deal, if you are an unrestricted free agent, you are in free agency and you are free to go sign with whoever you want to sign with.
Yeah.
So we had some news in Dallas. First of all, Colin Blackwell was re-signed for 2 years at $775,000 per year, which I personally think is a steal.
I do too.
We talked about that. We talked that he should be re-signed and we'd be good with like $1 million a year. So
yeah,
and Jim got him at a discount.
Yeah, I think that's great. We have
we've been singing the praises of Colin Blackwell.
Absolutely.
He's our new short king.
He is, and yeah, I mean, and we even saw him there when we went to that Colorado game that he wasn't in, but he was just like hanging out.
He's just sitting on a chair while everybody else was working out.
Playing on his phone.
Yeah. He's just like us.
He's got a phone. He plays on it.
Exactly. So, no, he's great. He's just like nonstop hustle. He's a hard worker. He's created a lot of chances. He had a game-winning goal like in the playoffs. So, you know, he's good.
As Pete said, he's an energy guy.
He's an energy guy. And maybe we'll get to see more of that, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Okay.
A very pleasant surprise is the return of Radek Faksa.
Oh, yeah. Fox is coming back.
Yeah, we signed him for 3 years at $2 million AAV. I'm really happy. I really missed Radek Faksa. I voluntarily watched many Blues games.
Yeah.
So it'll be really nice to not have to do that because, I was going to say I wanted to watch Ryan Suter, but as far as I know, Ryan Suter still isn't signed anywhere. So
yeah. That's how they had to get rid of Suter, was to like trade him and Foxa and then eventually get Foxa back. But just be like, no, you guys, you can keep Suter. We're good.
I mean, like technically no, but in my heart, yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It was all just a long plan.
It was all a long con.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you know, I said all last year right from the start that something felt sort of off with the Stars and we were kind of missing something. And a big part of what we were missing is, I think, what Faksa brings. He has like a real heavy physical style of play. He's really good at hits. He's good at regaining and retaining puck possession, especially sort of on the fourth line and then getting it to the top line. So like when they take the ice and sort of generating those chances. And I don't know, he's great at like wearing down the top line of other teams. All that kind of heavy physicality. That's not like the hitting physicality per se, but just like the kind of wear down grinding kind of game that like a lot of people don't necessarily enjoy doing. He's so good at it. Like, he's kind of the bread and butter. So I couldn't be happier to see him come back. A lot of people are like, that's a lot of money for that guy. And I'm like, you just don't understand. You don't see him like I do. He's wonderful.
I'm excited he's back. I always liked him. Like I know him from even before this season of watching all the hockey games.
Yeah, no, he's great. I think he's just really underrated.
Yeah.
I think that we're going to see a lot of what we were missing last year. I think we're going to see it with him back in the lineup. So
yeah, I'm
really thrilled.
And I'm glad he's not with the Blues anymore because they never returned my application.
They did not. It's true.
I wouldn't have either, but they didn't. So they're on my shit list now.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're enemies.
Now we're enemies.
Listen, in hockey, there's friends and then there's enemies.
Yep,
and that's just how it goes.
Yep.
We did say goodbye to some stars, unsurprisingly, because we have no money.
Right.
Cody Ceci signed with the LA Kings for 4 years at $4.5 million AAV.
Man,
yikes.
He's got some great negotiating skills, or his agent does, or something.
No, somebody online was like, well, because Ken Holland is now the GM there, and he used to be the GM in Edmonton, I think. And so, like, Ceci was in Edmonton when Ken Holland was there. So everyone's like, oh, he's just like bringing back all the Edmonton.
He's a crony.
Yeah. But no, somebody was like, his agent probably went to Ken Holland and was like, yeah, so, you know, if we're thinking 4 years at $4 million, and Ken's like, oh, I don't know if we can swing, you know, $4 million a year. And the agent's like, no, I was thinking $1 million a year. And then Ken's like, how about $4.5 million a year? And he's like, that's up from what you said, but sure, let's do it. So
yeah. I mean, good for him.
good for him. He seems like a lovely person.
He does.
And I think he does great when he's doing the right role.
He does great when he's doing great.
When he's playing bottom six or bottom four minutes, although that's just a lot for bottom four, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It just seems like the wrong amount of money for him, but fair enough. Good for him.
Good for him. Mikhail Granlund signed with the Ducks, so not even the right California team.
I know, and weren't they everyone was hoping he'd go back to
the Sharks,
right,
where we got him from.
Yeah.
But nope, he went to the Ducks for 3 years at $7 million AAV, which, I mean, again, good for him. We could not have afforded that. So
yeah, that color's not going to look good on him either.
Does it look good on anyone?
No, that orange is rough.
Yeah, no, we really need to get some like color theory specialists up in the NHL because it's not okay.
Nope.
The daddy daycare line is no more.
Nope.
Donov, his contract is up, and he is signed with New Jersey for a 1-year contract at $1 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
So, which we probably could have afforded, but again, I think it was just time.
I think it was time.
I think we've got to shuffle things up, get some new blood. And yeah. I think I'm okay with that. I really like Donov, but
I think he'll be good in New Jersey.
I think so too.
I think he's got the right kind of energy for that team.
Like world weary.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's kind of like, oh.
Haggard.
Yeah.
Exhausted.
Pretty much, yeah.
Beat up.
No, I feel like he and Jack Hughes can like really bond over like how hard life is.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty funny. We also lost Matej Blumel from the Texas Stars, who has played some NHL games for the Dallas Stars. He signed for the Bruins for 1 year at $875,000, reportedly because he felt like he had a better chance making the NHL roster full time there. And I honestly can't blame him for that.
Yeah, that's good. Good for him.
No, that's just kind of one of the things where like when your organization is really deep, that can be a problem because you have so many good players that like even your players in sort of the minors are really good. And then they're kind of stuck there because everybody ahead of you is really good too. And you have a hard time breaking in.
Yeah.
So, could he have had a chance to break the roster this year? Yes. But he could have had that chance many other times and it just didn't happen. So
yeah, no, that sounds good. We liked what we saw of him in the AHL.
Yes. Yeah, no, he's great. I did hear that apparently David Pasternak called him and was like, yo, you should come over here.
Oh, yeah.
They're both Czech.
Oh, cool. Nice.
So I don't know, like if Pasta's calling me and being like, hey, bro, like come on over here. We're fun. I might go too. Like,
yeah.
He seems cool.
He seems all right.
Yeah. So I don't know. And it's definitely better than AHL money. So
yeah. No, and they're like a brand new team that's going to be rebuilding essentially.
Yeah, right.
So.
Like he definitely, I think, has a better chance of cracking the roster.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, at this time, Matt Dumba does remain a Dallas Star.
At this current
Matt Dumba update, still a Dallas Star.
Still a Dallas Star.
We're going to have to trade him because we are technically over the cap right now, which we're allowed to be until October. Mm-hmm. But we got to get rid of that guy.
Yeah. All right. So the Dumba watch continues.
Dumba watch remains a thing that I have to keep doing.
Yep.
Someone who is no longer a Dallas Star, but is always a star in my heart, is Logan Stankoven.
Yeah.
He signed a contract extension in Carolina for 8 years at $6 million a year.
Yeah.
I'm honestly so proud of him.
He found his forever home.
He did. And that's a really great deal for a teeny tiny 22-year-old to sign.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people thought it was a steal of a deal. Like they thought he could have done maybe a shorter bridge deal and gotten more.
Probably.
But, I think when you kind of get traded from what you think is for your forever team, mm-hmm. unceremoniously, you're just going to sign and get some monies.
Well, I think he likes it there too.
He does. He said it felt like home there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I never lived in Texas. I've been there a couple times. I wouldn't want to live there.
It's fine. I say as somebody who was born in Texas, but only lives there till I was 4.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like he's from Canada too, right? Like,
yeah.
He's used to like humidity and like seasons and stuff, probably.
I believe so.
Not just dry.
Not just dry. Yeah.
Hot. Yeah. Anyway, seems like a good place for him. He's obviously fit in well.
He has fit in really well. He's, like everyone says, he's built for that system. He and Brindamore seem to really vibe. And yeah, I thought he was a great fit, and they clearly did too, because they put a ring on it, and I'm really happy for him. I spent way too much money on a Stankoven Whalers jersey.
You did.
I said I was going to if he signed a deal, and he did. So I'm a woman of my word.
Yep.
And I'm very excited because I like those Whalers jerseys. They're pretty sick. And
the colors are going to look great on you.
They're going to look so good. I just got my hair dye refreshed. It's all nice and bright and colorful again.
Yep.
So it's going to look awesome. And yeah, but I'm very proud of my boy.
It's going to be a great jersey to keep in the closet while we're watching all your other teams and not.
I'll wear it when we watch the Canes.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Maybe when the Canes come to Colorado, I'll go see them there. Maybe I will.
All right.
Spend more money. The Canes made another big move, trading for Keandre Miller. He's a good two-way defenseman who's a good skater and is able to join the rush, which are advantages in Carolina's system. But he also has size, which they're lacking a little bit. So I think it's another solid pickup for them. He was a little inconsistent with the Rangers, but they had him playing more of like a shutdown style of defense, which wasn't really his style. Not everyone can be Essa Lindell.
Yeah. No, I was like, I don't know why I don't know this name. And then you said he was from the Rangers. And now I know why I don't know that name.
Yeah, I figured you wouldn't, but I was like, since I'm talking about Carolina, because I do have other news about Carolina. They have lost a defenseman in Brent Burns.
The
guy with the backpack and the beard who got bitten by an animal or something, or
probably a tiger,
something like that.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. He likes weird animals.
Yep.
Anyway, he signed a 1-year deal with Colorado for $1 million. So
yeah, I feel like people thought that was weird because he's kind of old, maybe.
He is older. Yeah. Yes. He is getting up there.
Yep.
So, but yeah, anyway, so that's a thing.
Okay.
We did talk about some of the big names that are staying in Florida, but the Panthers could not keep everyone. Nico Sturm has returned to one of his former teams, the Minnesota Wilds. He signed for 2 years at $2 million a year. And Nate Schmidt has signed with the Utah Mammoth for a 3-year contract at $3.5 million a year.
They lost Schmitty?
They lost Schmitty.
Huh.
Yep. His spot will likely be filled by Jeff Petrie, who signed for 1 year with the Panthers at the league minimum of $775,000 plus performance bonuses. His wife hosts the Never Offside podcast with Kat Foley. So when we aren't getting Baby Shark sleepover news, maybe we'll get behind the scenes gossip on the Panthers locker room. So
maybe.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
The big surprise of free agency was Brock Besser, who re-signed with Vancouver for 7 years at $7.25 million AAV. Besser was pretty vocal about wanting to stay in Vancouver, and Vancouver seemed like they were going to move on. And it's frankly weird that they let him move on to free agency before signing him again. I don't know if they were like trying to neg him because like they signed him on the first day. Like,
yeah,
I don't know why they would do that.
Just playing hardball with him or something.
I don't know. Yeah, it just seems weird because I think that if they would have signed him before that, they could have signed him 8 years. But since they waited, they could only do 7. But I don't know. Vancouver is weird. They are, as we all know, very dysfunctional right now.
Yeah, I don't. These Canadian teams, man.
Yeah, things are.
The Flames seem the most normal.
Yeah, they did sign, I don't have it written down, but they signed Morgan Frost for, I think, 2 years at $2 million a year, maybe.
Oh, good.
So, yeah.
What about Farabee?
I think he still had term on his contract,
Gotcha.
so they don't have to worry about that at this time.
Okay.
So.
Well, good. I'm excited to see what they do this year.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be nice. The Flyers have added a new goalie to their collection of bewildering goaltenders.
Got to get them all.
Gotta get them all.
Are you a mediocre goalie?
Come to Philly.
Well,
sign you right up. So they picked up Dan Vladar, who actually most recently played for the Calgary Flames. He was drafted by Boston, but spent the last 4 seasons in Calgary. He played between like 20 and 27 games a season. His overall save percentage is 89.5%, which isn't great.
So
but
he's tracking with the rest of them.
Well, it is better than Kolosov, Fedotov, and even Urson.
Yeah.
So my bet is that Urson and Vladar are the Flyers tandem. I think Urson could maybe be better with a slightly more reliable backup in Vladar. Because Fedotov and Kolosov ain't it.
No, unfortunately.
I don't know what that means for Fedotov and Kolosov. Fedotov maybe ends up in the AHL for more training. Kolosov maybe stays in Russia. Maybe he gets traded. I honestly just don't know at this point.
I mean, I feel like when the Flyers broadcast team signed off for this year, they were like, all right, well, they definitely need to figure out goalies this summer.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, we'll see you next year.
Yeah. That was literally, I think, how they ended the whole season. They're
Right.
like, all right, goalies, question mark.
Right. And I think that question mark is still it's even bigger now.
It is, because now there's just more goalies, question mark. So
Yeah.
they're really going to go for like an oops all goalies game, but it's just going to be like their whole lineup. It's just going to be oops all goalies.
Oops, all goalies. Yeah, man. I don't know. I wish the best for Fedotov, but I just don't. I really wanted a lot more from him, like immediately.
Yeah, I mean, he's been through it, so I get it.
Yeah, no, I get it. I just don't know where he ends up at this point.
I hope he just gets a year in the AHL and has time to actually develop. He got thrown into the deep end.
He sure did.
Much like Urson did.
Yep.
And not everybody can function well in those circumstances. And honestly, he's probably still dealing with trauma from being like forcibly conscripted into the Russian military and having to live in like a weird aircraft carrier situation or like bunker or wherever he had to go.
Yeah.
Where he was too tall to live there.
Yep.
So anyway, I wish nothing but the best for him, but he hopefully gets some time to get better.
Yeah.
At that and like just life in general.
It's the European style. That's why it looks so chaotic and weird and crazy.
And also he's nothing but arms and legs, like a la Mason Marchment.
The European style. No, the man's chaotic in there. Anyway.
In other goalie news, Alex Nedeljkovic, formerly of the Pittsburgh Penguins, was traded to the Sharks on Tuesday for a third-round pick in the 2028 draft.
Wait, Ned?
Yeah, Ned.
They got rid of Ned?
They got rid of Ned.
I like Ned.
I know.
So he's with the Sharks now?
He's with the Sharks now.
Oh, I like that. The
Yeah.
Sharks. What about their AHL goalie? Is he still there?
Well, I'm not through my...
Oh, God, I got so excited about Ned.
So excited about Ned. No, that's okay. So I was going to say, we already knew that the Sharks weren't going to re-sign Georgiev. So it's looking like we might have an Askarov-Ned tandem next year.
Askarov Ned. That's a dynamic, good interview situation.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I think that could be really fun. So, no, I thought you would be down for that news. That's why I kept that one as a surprise for you.
Well, apparently that just was the highlight of my day.
Apparently it was. Yeah. So, no, that's some exciting goalie news. And then finally, for Tuesday, apparently the LA Kings, heard it here first. They're going to be making it to the Cup Finals next year because they've signed Corey Perry to a 1-year contract for $2 million.
Oof.
And if we know anything about Corey Perry, it's that he's going to lose in the finals.
Losing in the finals.
So you just, but to lose in the finals, you got to get to the finals. So
right.
By the transitive property, I think, of mathematics, that means that they're going to the finals. So sorry, Dallas and everybody else.
Yep. Well,
it's been a good run.
It's been a good run.
The season's over.
Get ready for the 2027 season.
Luckily, it was just a 1-year contract. So Wednesday, we had, this is pretty much like the last big signing news, but it was big. Nikolai Ehlers signed with the Hurricanes for 6 years at $8.5 million a year. So he was drafted by Winnipeg and has played there his whole career, but he decided he wanted a new challenge and a different environment. He made it clear that there was no drama with the team, no bad blood. There was like speculation that he was like tired of the Canadian media, and he was like, that's not the case. He just really wanted to go somewhere different and try something different. I think maybe he was cold.
I mean...
And he's from Denmark, but like...
Also cold,
but Winnipeg's real cold.
Yeah. He just wanted to go where there's palm trees and taxes. I think they have taxes there.
I believe they do. So he was one of the big fish in free agency and was courted by a lot of teams, including the Capitals. And he was apparently offered more money and term elsewhere, but he specifically wanted to go to Carolina, which Carolina fans are really excited about because I think in the past they have felt like they were not really a destination for big name players.
It's nice to be wanted.
It's so nice to be wanted.
Yeah.
Like, right? Yeah. I mean, that's it. I think probably with Logan Stankoven.
Yeah.
Kind of eased the sting a little bit of the Dallas thing that Carolina actively like pursued him as part of that trade. So he is known for his speed, and he thinks he's going to play well in the Carolina system, which is heavy on forechecking and shot attempts. And the GM, Eric Tulsky, thinks that he can help turn Carolina's puck possession into scoring chances because he has a good finishing ability. So it really could be like a great pairing for...
Yeah, that sounds good. I don't know. I think he's kind of boring to watch.
Well, he's been in Winnipeg, so...
That's probably why.
Yeah.
It's just the malaise of Winnipeg.
Yeah. No, it'll be nice to see him getting to play with other like speedy players. And because like he at Four Nations is like a very different player to watch, I feel like. So yeah, I don't know. It could be really interesting. Carolina's making big moves this year.
Big moves.
And it feels different than Nashville making big moves last year, and that it feels like thought out.
Right. Well, their GM is like a data scientist or something, right?
He's got a PhD in like chemistry or something, and like has like multiple patents, and he's like, he's like a crazy genius.
He's a smart guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so it's been kind of a...
God, he does have the energy of a PhD, doesn't he?
Doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. No, it's definitely some kind of PhD in some sort of science field. And yeah, he does have a lot of patents. I know that much. So yeah, no, he's got an interesting brain, that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like it. It's, so many GMs are like ex-hockey players, and he's just like, I'm a mad scientist.
I'm a mad scientist.
I'm a nerdy mad scientist, and I'm here to shake things up.
Yep.
So
yep.
No, he did start through like data though. Like he came up with some like weird data analytics thing, and like, I don't know, shook up the world of hockey. So he's an interesting story.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it for trades and signings news for now. There will still be stuff throughout the summer, but I think that's going to be sort of the big stuff for the moment.
Yeah.
So thanks for bearing with me while I went through the ups and downs of free agency.
Yeah. That's it? We're good? We're wrapped?
No.
Oh.
There's one more. There's one more important piece of news that doesn't have anything to do with trades and signings for players.
Okay.
Dallas Stars have a new coach.
Oh, God, that's right.
Yeah. This week, the Stars confirmed that they have hired Glen Gulutzan as the new head coach. He was the head coach back in Dallas in 2011 through 2013. Back then, it was his first head coaching job in the NHL, and the team was not tremendously good then, so it wasn't the most successful stint of all time. Since then, he's gone to work as an assistant coach and a head coach for several other NHL teams. He was an assistant coach in Vancouver, head coach in Calgary, and then most recently, he's been an assistant coach with the Edmonton Oilers. The hiring was a little controversial with some fans. A lot of people are like, why are we bringing back a former coach who wasn't successful? But so far, I'm actually on board.
Okay.
I got into hockey probably like 2014-ish, so I missed his first stint with the Stars. I might have started getting into it around 2013, but I wasn't paying close enough attention back then by any.
And even if it was that far long ago, like, man, things have changed so much since then. Like,
it's changed from like year to year,
holy smokes,
like
right?
Week to week. I mean, it's crazy. So yeah, he was playing with a very different lineup back then.
Yeah.
The only person who's still around from back then who he coached was Jamie Benn, who he actually coached in Austin as part of the Texas Stars, because he started with the Texas Stars before going to the Dallas Stars. So he coached Jamie as a Texas Star and as a Dallas Star. He has kept in touch with Jamie all of these years. So that's pretty nice.
Yep.
He did say something in his press conference about, kind of starting out with Jamie at the beginning of his career, and now let's finish it together, as in like, let's get him the cup. So
all right,
that was nice.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. I watched his whole press conference last night. Jim Nill was there too. So Jim Nill listed off the reasons why he went with Glen as the hire. He has an ability to have a team first mentality. He said, and I quote, "You win and lose as a team," which felt a little pointed.
A little pointed, maybe. A little DeBoer callback.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he didn't mean it that way, but I'm certainly going to read into it that way. He said that Gulutzan has an ability to build teams, an ability to connect with people and to collaborate, which also feels a little pointed.
Yep.
And even more importantly, to make players accountable, which is, I think again, kind of telling.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like the players haven't had that like final push, all season. Like I keep saying like there's no there.
Right.
And yeah, I do think maybe there's been a bit of a lack of accountability, and maybe that's a Pete losing the room kind of situation. So,
well,
I don't know. I thought those were all interesting things for Jim to say.
Yeah.
Gulutzan opened the press conference by joking that Jim had sent him on a recon mission 12 years ago through Canada, and this has basically been a long game of him scouting out the opposing teams.
That's funny.
Last week, Jim called him and was like, "Hey, time to come home." So that was like a good way to sort of like diffuse the whole, like, "Hey, I used to be here and I was fired."
He was just like a sleeper agent or something.
Yeah. He was asked basically if it was weird coming back to a team where they had essentially gotten rid of him. And he was like, actually, Jim was right. He needed to go through and get sort of the wounds and the scars of the career to sort of grow and get to where he needed to be. He talked with some of the coaches he's worked with since he's been gone, and one of them was Torts.
Interesting.
Yeah. Torts had a very brief, I think, 1-year coaching stint in Vancouver. And that was where Gulutzan went after that. So that was like his first year out of Dallas. He worked with Torts. But he did say he learned a lot. Like he's learned a lot from all these different coaches and listed a lot of them. But Torts was in there. So
yeah. And Torts in Vancouver?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
People don't look fondly on that year.
They don't. No, it's true. So yeah.
Like he allegedly like never even like showed up and just like.
No, I think he would just like go and like sleep in his office when he had to be there.
Right.
So
and otherwise he was in Washington.
Right. Yeah. So.
Anyway.
But yeah, anyway, so I thought maybe you might like that he has some like Torts magic.
He's got the connection to Torts. I do like that. I'm still waiting to see where Torts ends up for this year.
I don't know if it's happening.
I don't know. I'm still holding out.
Maybe he'll be on TV. Maybe.
Oh boy. Then we can watch all the TNT or whatever he ends up on.
Oh boy. The reporters were asking about what has changed basically since he was here the last time. And he said he has so much more knowledge now. Back then, if something wasn't working, he didn't really have an option to try something else because he pretty much only knew one thing. And now he's worked with so many people and he has a greater well of knowledge to pull from. Something that I really liked was that he said he's going to work collaboratively with the other coaches, take a deep dive on the players we have, and build a system that's best for the Dallas Stars and the personnel we have. He said every system has won a cup. For him, it's not about forcing the team into a system, but about figuring out the system that best serves the team. I loved that. Like,
yeah,
there's so many coaches that come in and they're like, this is the system I coach and I will make the players bend to my will. Like, that's the thing I'm worried about with Tocchet in Philly, where he's like so sort of defensive heavy.
Right.
And like, it's like, ugh.
Yeah. Tocchet.
Yeah. But where he's like, I'm going to like look at all these guys and figure out what they're good at and figure out like how to utilize their strengths. Like,
I mean, sounds like him answering an interview question, but yes, I if that is what happens, that'd be great.
I'm paraphrasing. I think if you saw the way he answered it, it was.
No, I get it.
It was well thought out.
Yeah.
So it's fine if you want to be skeptical.
I'm just going to be, I don't know who this guy is, so.
That's fine.
I'll just be skeptical.
One thing he said he does want to do is turn up the physicality just a degree. A reporter asked if he thought he could do that with the personnel he currently has. And he was like, well, yeah, which I liked that
he's like, yeah, I've got Dumbo. I'm fine.
No, but he was like, basically, he's not asking them to go goon it up. He's talking more along the lines of making them stronger on the forecheck and back check.
Yeah. Like
just stuff that like every player should be able to do.
Yeah.
So again, I think like with Nil talking about sort of the accountability aspect. So, and then he talked about the assistant coach roles. Nasruddin will still be in charge of RPK, which he called a pain in the butt from the perspective of an opposing coach. And then Neil Graham is coming up from the Texas Stars to be an assistant coach. He was also talked about to be a head coach candidate,
right.
But I think people were a little concerned he didn't have any head coaching NHL experience, which, didn't work out great for Gulutzan in the past. But anyway, he is going to come on as assistant coach and he's going to work with the forwards and oversee the power play, which he's been great with that with the Texas Stars.
Yeah.
And
so coach development going on now.
Coach development too.
Yep.
So that's great. And then Gulutzan also did an interview with Razor and he had some good quotes that I pulled out. One of them, I'd be crazy to come into a team with 106 points and say I'm going to blow it up and we're going to play all different systems. I liked that.
That's a good point.
It is a good point. Basically, he's not coming in to change 1,000 things. He wants to change some things about the mentality and where they put their energy, specifically kind of that physicality thing.
Which you've been requesting.
Literally, go back to the beginning of the season. I've been saying it all along. I'm like, we just need to turn it up a little bit. We're almost there, but there's something missing.
Would you say you need maybe a degree more?
Probably. I don't think I said that, but when he says it, I'm like, yeah, that's what it is.
Just a degree.
Just a degree.
Yeah.
Another quote from him: "At the end of the day, I want to get really good at the things that require no talent, because when it gets down to the nitty gritty, it's not about X's and O's. It's about the dirty things that you've got to dig in and do. We've got to get better at the things that require no talent because we have the skill." Fucking yes.
All right.
That's the thing. Like, I feel like DeBoer is like, we have a skilled team. That should be enough. And like, that it's not enough. Like, we got to get in that front. We got to do those things. We have to like grind. We have to do things. Like,
yeah,
we're not like too good. We're not. I've said it in the past as like, we want to be fancy boys, but like, we're not good enough to be just fancy boys. We have to do the other stuff too.
Yeah.
And like, I think Gulutzan seems to do that.
All right.
He repeated, "We need to add a little degree of physicality to our group. It's not just hitting. It's a little more finishing, a little more hand-to-hand combat, a little more rugged." And then he also said that they're going to start putting their energy into the physicality from day one so it can seep into the fabric of the team.
Cool.
Basically all the stuff I've been saying for like a year.
I know.
It's all the stuff that he's saying.
Don't know why they don't hire you.
I don't know either. I clearly am very knowledgeable.
Right.
He's just saying it in words that are like hockey words and not just like, he's not going around saying, well, the Dallas Stars are fancy boys and they need to.
Can you imagine him saying that during a press conference? That'd be funny.
That would be great. Like, that would be my problem is like, if I was a coach, I'd be like, well, the problem is they were the Dallas Sleepy Boys tonight. They're trying really hard to be the Dallas Fancy Boys, but they need to be the Dallas Gritty Boys. But not like the Philly Gritty Boys, because Gritty is like a whole entity, but
right.
like Gritty in a different sense.
Yeah.
But no, it's like all the stuff I've been trying to say, but I don't have the vocabulary for it because I'm just an idiot who watches a lot of hockey.
Right.
And he actually knows shit. So
let's hope.
I mean, he seems to.
I didn't watch the interview or anything with him. I clicked on a short of him being interviewed, and I thought he looked like Macklemore, and then I turned it off. That's my takeaway on him. Or at least he's got the same haircut as Macklemore.
He doesn't not look like Macklemore. Okay, well, that's a new wrinkle I hadn't considered.
You hadn't considered that he looks like Macklemore?
I hadn't. I was really more focused on the hockey talk. That's my bad.
I was ready for him to get up there and do a little thrift shop.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, that's certainly going to add some grit to the Dallas style, I guess.
Exactly.
Listen, we can't like expect them to like do Tupac. Like, Macklemore's about as hard as they're going to get.
Exactly. Yeah, it would be a little less country, a little bit more Macklemore hip hop.
A little bit less country, a little bit more Macklemore. Oh boy. Oh man. All right. Well, I don't know. I'm optimistic. I liked what he was saying. Obviously, it's just words until it happens, but
no, it sounds good.
I always enjoy it when I am validated and when people are like, Kate, you were right. And basically, it just feels like he was looking into the TV screen and going, Kate, you were right this whole time.
Yeah.
I'm going to fix this for you.
Yeah.
And so I like him.
Popping tags.
Only got $20 in my pocket.
He's only got $20.
Oh boy.
He needs that.
He's hunting for a come up. And this is going to be fucking awesome. Don't come for me in a lyric battle.
Wow. Yeah. Your references go deep with Macklemore.
They go deep with all the songs, and you know those about me. So that's the state of hockey currently. And I know I've said it before, but we really are going to not be doing this next week because you're going to be out of town.
That's right. Yeah, they'll definitely, it'll be our first week off in 40 weeks.
Yes. Yeah. So
first actual week off. Unless, somebody like drops the biggest bomb of a bomb news with hockey.
Okay, if Dumba gets traded, there might be a mini emergency podcast.
A mini emergency podcast.
But
it'll just be you on your phone being like, hey guys, it's Kate. Dumba's gone.
Yeah. Pretty much. But otherwise, this will be it for a little while. But yeah.
At least a week.
At least a week. At least a week. All right. Anyway, that's going to be the end of regulation for this week's overtime episode of Ice is Slippery. You can find us on Tumblr, Blue Sky, TikTok, and Instagram at Ice is Slippery Pod. You can also email us at iceisslipperypod@gmail.com, where we would love to get suggestions for more off-season content. Until next time, stay out of the penalty box.